What is up, Gear Squad? Chain Gear here, bringing you another video, and today we are back with a live stream of the one, the only. Actually, that's not true. There is another one, but we'll talk about that later. GearCast, which is the premier podcast of Chain Gear Gaming. And now there's officially another podcast on Chain Gear Gaming, but we'll talk about that as well at another time. But this is GearCast, guys. GearCast episode 21. We're going to talk about a lot of awesome things today. And of course, I'm not by myself. I'm with my loyal co-host, Vampire Peaches.
Hello. I'm here. I am here. This is exciting because it's always exciting because we never do these things on time. So there's like this big span of time because we're busy, but it's something to look forward to. And I love doing this all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Only one more week until it's much easier for us to do this. So
yeah, and that's something we'll talk about as well. Lots of things to talk about today. I'm pretty excited. I hope you guys are all excited here. I'll be looking at the comments pretty often. Jordan, what is up? Drugenfruit, what's good? Myzel, what's good, man? I haven't talked to you in a long time. Kate, always a pleasure to see you. And the Expert Crew. I don't think I've ever seen the Expert Crew before. What is up? Well, hello, everybody. We're going to do a whole bunch of things today. We're also going to do a little bit of question and answer in our last video about, I think it was my last vlog that I did, checking out my old house back home, like in New Jersey. I did like a little vlog there, and I asked you guys to put some questions so we could answer them in the comment section. And so I pulled a couple of those, and we'll definitely chat about some of those. But before we get started, let's just kind of jump into things and talk about life. Like, Peaches, how have you been in the last couple? I mean, it's been a while since we've been on GearCast, so how have things been going for you?
Things have been going on. Just getting my grind in, and I've actually jumped on the Twitter machine. Drugenfruit and I enjoy plenty of banter and conversations. I mostly complain about Overwatch and tweet at superfluous people that are much smarter than I am. I also have a poll that I'd love for you guys to get involved in, because we predominantly talk to a bit of a younger audience, so I just genuinely want to know. I want to go on my Twitter. Go at your pal Peaches. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. I would love to talk to and all of you. Go participate in my survey. I need to know why you think people like Sonic the Hedgehog. I tagged you in this, but like I'm writing another piece on this right now for Sonic's 25th anniversary, and I just want to know. I want to gather out of the 4 options that I have. I just need to gather that for a little bit. It's gonna be a good time, a great time. But no, I'm just trying to get more involved, talk to you people. But my man, Drugenfruit, you're just a riot, dude.
Yeah, Drugenfruit. I was just mentioning in one of my last videos that I mentioned Drugenfruit. I literally just called him out by name. I was like, "Eat my favorite sub by far, brand new, basically," and like he's changed the way that the comment section, how alive the comment section is. You know, just every single time I hop on YouTube, he's always there. He makes his own content, and his YouTube channel is awesome as well. So I hope everybody goes on Drugenfruit's his YouTube channel and checks out his stuff. But not just him; it's like Jim Timbob as well. Awesome is always on. Gold JH has been on a lot as well. Of course, the legendary Assassin. Like, he's always on as well, and so it's been really nice to chat with everybody on whether it be on YouTube or whether it be on Twitter. So that's been pretty cool. But hey, man, I'm glad that you're still on your grind and still doing what you do. Because there's going to be some changes pretty soon within the next week. Next week is my birthday. Fun fact. So actually, we'll be doing GearCast on my birthday, or the day before my birthday.
Yeah, we will. We totally will. Oh my God, it's going to be Chain Gear's birthday bash, GearCast extravaganza, and by that I mean we're probably going to sit around, play video games, and eat a lot of food that's not good for us. But
yeah, that's true. That's probably exactly what we're going to do. But yeah, we'll do another live stream just like this and talk to you guys about what's going on. But as he just mentioned, you know, we're going to be doing that together, and that's because you're going to be here on the 13th, right?
Hey, it's exciting. Yeah, I'm going to be having like in the afternoon, early evening next week, next Saturday. And I'm going to be, well, it's obvious that I go to school in Boston quote unquote. It's kind of like Philly, right? You claim the general area around Philadelphia. It doesn't matter where you live. You just claim that city. So I go to school in Boston, and I'm going to be staying with Chingier until I go back to school. But I'll still be living nearby, so I'll be over like every week or so to record shows and stuff for you guys. So it's going to be awesome. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm really pumped. We do a lot of stuff now. You know, Peaches and I have like come a long way from the very beginning of Chain Gear Gaming and GearCast. I mean, we do a lot now, and you know, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I was literally making videos every single day. Then I moved to this new place, which you guys will see a vlog of soon. I was going to do it yesterday, but I want to get things straightened up a little bit more so I can show you guys what it looks like in its pristine fashion. And then, you know, you guys can kind of give me your thoughts on the place. But yeah, Peaches will be here. We'll be able to make videos, maybe not every day, but at least every other day. I do have a new schedule that's going to come out soon. Probably by the end of August. I'll stick to it, and it should be a lot of fun. It should make my life a lot easier making videos, and you guys should have videos at least 3 times a week. So that should be a lot of fun. Of course, I'd love to do daily videos, but my job is busy. So aside from life and, you know, all that craziness, what's going on in your gaming life? What have you recently been playing?
It's a nightmare, dude. I have no internet at my parents' house right now because they're transitioning into a move to another house, which I'm sure you can relate to multiple times. So I hopped back into Fallout 4 with this internet-less existence and experimenting with different sorts of builds in Dark Souls 3. I'm a nerd. I wanted to go back to Fallout 4 predominantly because I wanted to do a little trophy cleanup, experiment with different skills and stuff, and I wanted to see if I'll be able to get one of these last trophies that I need in order to get a settlement. Do 100% happiness. You maintain a village, you up their happiness, whatever. And no, it's still bugged. It still sucks. I'm upset. So I'm announcing it here. I've given up on the Fallout 4 Platinum Trophy. It's just not worth it. It's making me so upset.
And this is what happens. This is actually, I'm really glad you brought this up. Same exact thing happened to me on. We talked about this before, back on our second. I think it was our second episode for trophies, or third, maybe, I don't know. But one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 4, at least at the time, was Shadows of Mordor.
Phenomenal game. Yeah,
Shadows of Mordor was completely ruined because of one trophy that I didn't get. And I was like, forget it. I don't even, like, I got mad at the game. Like, I loved the game, but I got mad at the game. So that was kind of annoying, but I understand that. But I have a remedy to trophies. I want everybody to know this because you guys know that I have a problem when it comes to trophies. Trophies ruin my life, yet I need them. They're the lifeblood of my existence.
Which I followed, and it's made my Overwatch experience 1,000 times better.
Yes, it's so great. So let me explain this to you. First of all, also another thing is you guys kind of see me like not really moving around much. I strained my neck the other day. This is like day 3, and it still like hurts really bad. So I won't be like doing a lot of head movement. The only really way I can look is like this way, but even then there's still a lot of tension. Just thought I'd let you guys know that.
You're like Batman. You're like Batman back in the day. Like you can't move your neck. You gotta hold it.
Basically, it sucks. But anyway, here's the remedy to trophies. If you guys like trophies and like, you know, you think they're cool and stuff like that, but you kind of have, like, you feel like maybe trophies are like ruining the experience for you, the perfect remedy is go into your notifications section and just turn off notifications for trophies. You can keep on all of the notifications. Personally, I would turn them all off, but just leave the notifications for trophies off, at least. And you'll notice that your gameplay experience is going to be a lot better, especially for those that grew up before achievements. So if you guys grew up before Xbox 360 and PS3, I don't know if trophies were actually on Xbox, the original, or not trophies and achievements. You know, if you guys played games without those sorts of things before, I think you guys will like this a lot, because what it allows you to do is play the game, enjoy it, and then if you really, really enjoy it still, you can go up to the trophy list, take a look at it. First of all, you probably already unlocked a couple of them, and then you can just figure out which ones you want to accomplish later. And I really, really like that because I get no distractions when I'm playing my games now. And then all of a sudden I'll look at my trophy list and I'm like, holy crap, where'd I get all these trophies from? And it's because I've just been playing the game that I really enjoy. And I think it's something that you should all try if it's something that you're maybe struggling with. It's just how I feel about it.
It definitely helped with Overwatch because there are certain things you have to do with certain characters, get like quadruple kills with their special skills, that sort of thing. And so I was just like, oh, I have some new stuff in my my hero gallery. What did I unlock here? Some stickers or whatever? And I'm like, oh snap! I got like 4 special trophies for special characters and stuff. I'm like, look at this list, it's growing, and I don't have to stress out. The only thing I have to stress out about is that we lost again, but that's okay. I got another sticker.
No, yeah, I completely agree with that. I completely agree. But hopefully you guys try that out. Let me know what you guys think, maybe in the comment section below if you try it out, this week or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. Or tweet at us. You can tweet at us too at Chain Gear Game at Your Pal Peaches.
Mm-hmm.
At Your Pal Peaches. Yeah, check it out. Let us know what you guys think. So before we actually jump into the topic, the subject, the thing we want to talk about today, we have 2 other things. One is I had mentioned that this is the premiere podcast. It's kind of an ongoing joke before. Premiere podcast on Chain Gear Gaming. But there's actually a new podcast here on the channel. And it'll be here for a bit, and we kind of want to know what you guys feel about it. But there should be a little card icon up there or up there. I think it's up there. If you guys click on that, you'll see that there is a podcast called Peaches Pics. And this is season 2 of Peaches Pics. And this is not mine. This is actually Vampire Peaches. It's yours, right? So tell us a little bit about Peaches Pics. Why is it on the channel? Why should people watch it? Just give us a little bit of information about what it actually is.
So what Peaches Pics is, it's my podcast that I've been doing for a little while. It's a geek talk show where I get people passionate about geeky things, local people, so people in the immediate surrounding area, whether it be my friends or people that I meet in certain spheres that I associate myself with, and we sit down and talk about the things that we love. So, for example, my buddies Adam and Quincy love Smash Brothers, so I gather them up because they're much more knowledgeable about me, and we talked about Smash Brothers. You and I played a crap load of Overwatch, so we sat down and literally got about Overwatch. My buddy Anthony and I are obsessed with Dragon Ball, so I sat him down and we talked about Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. So, like, it's all about hearing normal folks talk about the geek stuff that we're really passionate about. Now, I thought it'd be a good fit for Chain Gear Gaming because we're all a bunch of nerds. Don't get confused. I'm pretty sure that everyone's interests in geekdom go far beyond Blacklight and some other video games and stuff. So it's sort of if you want to listen to our insight, because Chain Gear will be on the show like relatively often, definitely. If you wanted to hear our insight as to other things of geek media, like what did we think about Suicide Squad? What did we think about this thing? I want to know what you guys think about this game that's not Blacklight, or like you've been watching like cartoon or something. I don't know. It relegates in like everything geekdom, and something that I'm very, very passionate about actually. So the reception has been pretty good. Reception has been pretty good so far. So and we had a lot of fun with it too. It's something stress free that I like to have in my pocket. So.
Yeah. So it's basically, kind of wrap that all up. There's my podcast that's going to be on the actual, on this channel, which is all about gaming. It's all about gaming, PlayStation, and mostly PlayStation, and the industry overall, right? So we could talk about Blacklight, we could talk about multiplayer games, we could talk about science fiction games, we could talk about stealth games, we could talk about PlayStation or just Xbox or anything, right? Like E3. That's what GearCast is all about. GearCast Plays is about usually me and Vampire Peaches playing something. Then Peaches Picks is kind of his own thing, right? So we're kind of the hosts of our own shows, and Peaches Picks will be all about something, like it could be anything. It does not have to be about games, and sometimes it will be about a specific game. So you guys know, like, most of the time in GearCast, we don't talk about a specific game, actually. Most of the time it's like a genre, something about the industry, maybe some news. Maybe a game is coming out, but usually we'll talk a little bit more about that. And so for Peaches Picks, it dives way deeper into it, or can talk about a completely different subject. But usually it still has to do with something nerdy or something geeky or something like that. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Go ahead and watch the last one we did. It's all about Overwatch. It's called Overcrotch, but it's a lot of fun. Go ahead and check it out. Let us know what you think. If it does really, really well, then we'll definitely keep it on the channel. If it does super well, maybe we can help, make your own channel. That way you can kind of see some growth on your own and see how that goes. But that, that's a conversation for another time. If it doesn't do super well and you guys don't respond well to it, that's cool too. Just let us know why. Let us know what you're thinking. If you don't think it's right for the channel and you'd rather see the channel go somewhere else, then again, we could try and get you another channel. So it's not something where, we're not going to get offended if you're like, oh man, this is, I don't think this is for us. If you say it's crap, that's offensive because you're not helping. But if you say it's crap because of this, then that is actually fairly helpful. So let us know in the comment section of that video. You can put it in here as well, but that would be really, really helpful. And of course, I'm looking at the chat here as well. So I know some of you guys are Dragon Fruits is not blacklight and gets triggered. But yeah. So it's for you guys. If you guys definitely want to check it out, let me know. Also, Momdu, what's up? Good to see you here. Good to see all you guys here. This is awesome. So last thing I want to talk about before we actually get started with the major topic of the day is actually Q&A. So I'd like to do Q&A on these videos every single week. So at the end of this video, feel free to put in the comment section questions you have. I wouldn't put it in the chat. I'd put it in the comment section. You can also put them in any of the other videos, any questions that you guys have that you want answered during GearCast. If you actually have a question for GearCast, you probably could just put hashtag GearCast or hashtag, I don't know, QA or something, and I'll go ahead and find those within the comment section, and then we can talk about them here. And so on my last vlog video, actually, I asked you guys to come up with some questions, and so we wanted to answer a couple of them for you. A lot of them have to do with me, some of them have to do with Peaches, and so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I think the first question is actually by Jordan is Life, who I think might still be here in the live stream right now. First question is, how old are you? That's a good question. I mentioned this a couple times before. I'm actually 22, about to be 23. Pretty old, comparatively to you guys. But I'm 20. I'm about to be 23 on August 14th. Also, Momdu, you said that your birthday is August 13th. I think we've talked about this before. Congrats, bro. August brothers, Leos. Let's go. Peaches, how old are you?
I'm 13. I've been 13 for 300 years, which, according to Earth math, that makes me 21, and I'll be turning 22 in September. What's funny is that Chinger's birthday is on August 14th, but my birthday is on September 15th, so we just add the ones. That's how we remember, kind of. But yeah.
That works, because I always forget, and then he told me that one day, and I was like, oh, wait a second. Yeah. Works out really well. Cool. So that's how old we are. Good question. Another question is, do I have a girlfriend? I'm assuming you're talking about me. You might be talking about Peaches as well. I don't know. But for myself, I do not currently have a girlfriend, but I am talking to someone currently. So it's kind of in the works, kind of see how things are going. But I don't have an official girlfriend. No, not right now. So, but if you're interested, just hit me up on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. Especially now at 13, I'm not about that life.
February, we're gonna do like a Chingear dating game show. We're just gonna get a bunch of women on the opposite wall, be like, if you were a multiplayer game, what would you play with Chingear? Be like, and then they ring the buzzer. But as for me,
Call of Duty. You messed up. You're out.
But as for me, I am seeing a little someone. She and I have spent many hours together, many upon hours. She's a little woman named Base Station. And that's all I'm going to need for now. So, you know how it is. We invested a lot of time. Chingear, you known her for a while too. You know I trust her. Trust her with everything. We've had problems, but hey man, perseveres.
Base Station 3 we had some issues. It didn't always work out, but Base Station 4, that's all I have to say.
Let's talk about that in the comments. Hashtag Base Station. Tell us your best moment with your PlayStation. I'll tell you this right now. Hashtag Base Station. It was Valentine's Day, and that it was the PS3 cycle, and it's when The Last of Us DLC came out. Left Behind, and so I was just like, you know what? By the way. Sublime. It made me cry. Something awful. I got 2 boxes of Ferrero Rocher. Sat down on my bed. And I just played through Left Behind. It was the best Valentine's Day I ever had. And if any of my ex-girlfriends are watching this, I don't regret it. That is the best Valentine's Day I've ever had. So.
All right, then. The truth has been told. All right, so we got a couple more questions. Not too many, but hopefully you guys will. Hopefully you guys will, at the end of this video, remember at the end of the comment section, or tweet at us. That works too. And we'll go ahead and answer some of your other questions in the next one. The next one is the Smoke Wild XX. What's good, Smoke Wild? If you're watching this, what's good? How did you guys come up with the names Chain Peaches and Vampire Gear? I assume you actually mean our legitimate names, Chain Gear and Vampire Peaches. I think mine isn't that interesting. Well, I guess mine's interesting, but Vampire Peaches is actually like has to do with the two of us, so it's like really, I think, more interesting. So mine is actually because a long time ago there was Chain Gear. Basically, I had a character that I would name all of my I had a name that I would name all of my characters in RPGs, and I'd make up a lot of stories with them. And basically, I was obsessed with Legend of Zelda at the time, and I was like, what if Link had a brother and his name was Chain? And then I also really loved Digimon, and in Digimon Season 2, there were the Dark Gears, and I always had an obsession with gears at that point. And so I put them together, and it was Chain Gear. That's literally where Chain Gear comes from. And originally, it was Chain Gear 360, and I think it was because I had just learned geometry, and I learned that circles were 360. And this was actually before the 360 came out. But everybody was always like, oh, you have Chain Gear because of Gears of War and on 360. And I was like, you're completely wrong. But that's how Chain Gear was created. Vampire Peaches, how was yours?
If you thought that was nerdy. So in high school, in the beginning of high school, when we were a bunch of cool teenagers, we had this comic that we were writing. And, it's still up in the air whether we're going to do something with that. And so we had a character named Peaches. I was bitten by a vampire. And we were completely obsessed with that portion of the story for a couple months. So I decided to make my usernames on everything, just Vampire Peaches. And I would draw this character all the time. So eventually it stuck, and it became one of those things that just stayed consistent with all my usernames. And it's funny because that eventually became my artist name, because people started calling me that very casually and stuff. Oh yeah, Peaches or whatever. And of course, when you're talking online multiplayer, your stuff, and more often than not, people are calling me Peaches over Vampire. So not only does that give you insight to what my username is, and it's why my nickname is there. So boom. It's all because of our nerdy little comic that we wrote in high school.
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about if we're going to do something with it, but unfortunately, time gets the best of us, and I had to go to work, had to move. But definitely maybe talk about that in another podcast. Mm-hmm. Maybe. Who knows? All right, so that's all the questions that we've got today. Only 3 or 4. But again, if you guys are interested, go ahead and tweet at us, leave it in the comment section. Literally, just put a question anywhere. I'll see it. I'll save it. Yeah, we'll talk about it. So thanks for the questions, guys. Now it's time. We're already 20 minutes in. Let's actually jump into the reason that we're here today. And the reason that we're here is to talk about going into space.
Whoa.
Video games. Because there's a game coming out on the 9th of August, and it's a pretty big game that a lot of people are excited about. Myself, Ballistic Phoenix, I'm pretty sure you're pretty excited about it. And this game is No Man's Sky. And people have been freaking out about this game ever since it was mic dropped at, I believe, E3 2014?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. And this game looks great.
They started it the first PSX, so that was definitely 2014, right?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Either way, this game is supposed to change the way you think about gaming. It's literally like everybody spawns on their own planet and is trying to get to the center of the universe with millions of things to do. There's like a quintillion planets or something, and it's literally impossible for a person to get to all of them. I actually think it's literally impossible for all of us to get to all of them. I think that was the idea. But it's crazy. The universe that you're kind of flying around in a spaceship is kind of the epitome of sci-fi. And so I wanted to kind of have this podcast basically talk about our history and our time with sci-fi games and how we kind of feel about sci-fi in general. But first, just want to talk about No Man's Sky. I already pre-ordered No Man's Sky. I don't pre-order games usually, but if I pre-order them on Amazon, I get them a lot cheaper, like for $46 or something. So I always do that on Amazon if I know I'm going to buy the game. And then if I don't like it, I can always just sell it back, and I only like lose $5, so it's totally worth it. But yeah, totally getting the game. You guys will see it Tuesday night. I will probably upload a little sample of it. Let me know if you guys want to see more. Peaches will be here that weekend, and so maybe we can do a little GearCast plays or what have you. I think that would be pretty dope. But yeah, No Man's Sky is literally, it's like a game where you start off, like, I don't know exactly how it starts. I've been purposefully kind of backing away from all the leaks and spoilers and stuff out there. But I know you kind of like choose how you're going to play, like kind of like a certain class. So you can either like go out and excavate things, shoot things, sell things, and then afterwards you kind of go out and do like you basically are just space traveling, trying to get to the center of the universe for some reason. And I don't really know the full narrative, but I'm really excited for it. And I mean, kind of the idea is just to explore. You picture Minecraft and like Mass Effect without any of the Mass Effect stuff, just space. It's really cool. I think it's really cool. What do you think? Are you excited for it?
Of course I'm excited for it. This is basically like the first open universe game to this scale and stuff. I'm excited for it in the sense that I think it's exactly what I think it's going to be. Like just a very chill, like, I think it's going to be deep, but not too deep. You know what I mean? Like, people think it's going to be like this gigantic universe where you can do whatever the hell you want. And I'm like, I think you can do sets of things that are consistent across each planet. It's going to be one of those things that I can't wait to play like every single day, in the sense of like, oh, I'm going to play this a little bit before I go to class so that I can explore planets. The main thing that I want to do is that I want to be like a merchant. I want to be able to like collect things and sell things and explore every planet to just keep finding new materials and also name stuff. So if you guys see a poop fish, that's because I named it. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be like a giant space giraffe and be like, that there is called a poop fish. Got it. You're going to regret letting me name things, No Man's Sky. But it's really interesting to see you really excited about this, because spoilers for like the next bit of the discussion, you're not too big into sci-fi. You're more of a fantasy guy over science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump into it, right? I mean, I'm excited for this game strictly because of the exploration portion, and like I'm going to be able to have stories with my friends who are playing it and being like, oh man, I did this the other day. Like the atmosphere, I think, is going to be really cool. But yeah, sci-fi usually doesn't really interest me that much. There's only been a couple games, which we're definitely going to dive into a nice meaty list of games that you and I are familiar with that have to do with sci-fi. We're kind of going to question what even sci-fi means for some of these things. Sci-fi, being science fiction, right, is basically science-based fiction, right? And it's interesting because some people take it a lot farther than that and say, like, well, actually science fiction means that it's based on reality that then has like a scientific twist that could happen if like one or two things changed. I don't really want to go that deep into things, but in general, I've never really been interested. The way we actually found out that I wasn't interested in sci-fi, I didn't really know until Mass Effect came out. Mass Effect, and actually Fallout as well to some degree, if you believe that Fallout is sci-fi, which many people do. Both of those games.
Definitely. But then it gets into subgenres of like dystopia, post-apocalyptic, sci-fi. It's this whole mess.
Sure. Yeah. So I think that's a good point, is that there's a lot of intersections with sci-fi. But I think when I was playing Mass Effect, I realized I don't like playing this. Like, for some reason, I can't really put myself in it, but I loved watching it. Like, watching it was a lot of fun for me. It's kind of like Star Wars. I love watching Star Wars, but I don't love, like, playing, Star Wars games all that much. So that's always been, like, kind of interesting for me. But yeah.
There's a very tiny vocal minority of people that don't like Mass Effect as much as other people do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty vocal about, like, BioWare RPGs really just don't engage us as much as other people do.
Yeah, no, exactly correct. And I think for Fallout is that I started with Oblivion. Oblivion was my first Bethesda game, and a lot of this does have to do with the publisher and the developer and how the game is actually formatted. But when I played Oblivion, I loved it. It's one of my favorite games of all time, as you guys all know. I say this all the time. But Fallout, I thought I was going to really like. And then I was like, why do I have guns? Why is this going on? Where's my sword? I'm over this. Again, I like watching it. I like being involved on the outside, maybe helping people make choices and talking about it. But I'm not really into like playing it all that much. But there have been games that I have enjoyed playing, that has to do with sci-fi. And so, before we really get started, is there anything you want to talk about sci-fi in general, kind of your thoughts? And then I'm literally going to go down this nice meaty list that I have, and we'll talk about some of our moments with some of these games and sci-fi in general.
I found myself like dipping away from sci-fi recently in my, going into my 20s, seeing how my interests have been shifting, because especially with my running with Fallout these past couple days, and it made me realize more and more how much I miss like a good fantasy setting. It makes me, the more I play Fallout, the more I miss The Witcher, the more I miss Skyrim, the more I miss all these other like fantasy games. I've been missing Dragon's Dogma like a bastard recently, like for no reason. I really miss Dragon's Dogma. But when it comes to sci-fi, I definitely enjoy more grounded stories with sci-fi, in the sense that Star Wars is basically my staple for sci-fi. You know what I mean? Like, I am also a very big Star Trek fan, but Star Wars, just like how grounded that necessarily is in terms of its culture and in terms of like its universe, I definitely prefer that. Mass Effect, to be honest, was just really boring to me. It had a bunch of systems that I didn't really understand, and like the story was like engaging in the sense that I liked reading about it later, but having to actively go around and stuff, like it was just tedious for me. If there's anything that I really like in accordance to the genre, I just really enjoy like post-apocalyptic sci-fi. I love Mad Max. I love the world of Fallout. Like, that's the stuff that really intrigues me. Like, I just love seeing remnants of like a future that's destroyed. I just really love the crap out of that genre. Can you imagine like a post-apocalyptic fantasy setting, like the world kind of reset with robot dinosaurs, and you're just kind of like, no, because that's in terms of sci-fi, that's the game that I'm most pumped for more than anything. Horizon Zero Dawn, yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn, just because I'm like, that is so unique. You took like this like you took the sci-fi thing, and now you're integrating all the like these fantasy elements into it. That's just dope. So it's the best of both worlds, and also it's a third-person action game, which me and Chingy eat all of them. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely jump into all of these, like all of the different ones. And I mean, we might as well just jump into it. Also, just letting you guys know, feel free to put questions down in the comment section now or the chat right now. Probably not going to get to them right now. Maybe we can get to them at the end, or we'll save them for next GearCast. So Chocolate, don't worry, I've got your question, and we will answer it at some point. But I just want to let you guys know. So let's get started. Let's talk about these. So the first one that I have on the list, I tried to kind of get them in like not alphabetical order, in order of I guess when we first played them or when we would first know about them. And I think I did a pretty good job, and then I just failed miserably. So you'll see the first ones.
Exposure, you might say?
Yeah. So exposure, like when we were exposed to these games. So the first sci-fi one that you honestly probably won't even think about is Megaman.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I freaking love Megaman.
Yeah. So I thought that was a funny one because I hadn't thought about it at first. It was just because we think about most of the time when we think about sci-fi, it's literally like Star Wars, Star Trek, Mass Effect. People doing these things, but this is like a 2D, kind of platforming jump and shoot game, but it's sci-fi. At its very core, it's all about it's kind of like Astro Boy, and this guy has died, or it's a really complicated story, but the story is really intense.
Yeah, the story is really intense. You have two scientists, two different philosophies. One makes robots for good. One wants robots to have free will. What's funny is that the robots with free will bit, this is the guy that you're actually trying to kill, Dr. Wily. But you're sure enough, you're fighting against all there's different sorts of robots, different sorts of abilities, and they're all memorable. They're all really great, memorable games. Do you have any interest in playing Mighty Number 9?
No, not in the slightest.
Same. But anyway, yeah, Mega Man is fantastic, and they have a collection now on PS4, like the first 6. I think I'm very interested in getting that.
Yeah, so I don't care at all. I actually would give this the Mega Man property to our boy, not our boy really, just someone we really like, Colin Moriarty over at Kinda Funny Games, because he always talks about making a really gritty reboot of Mega Man. And I would,
dude, I forgot all about that. I was like Podcast Beyond days.
yeah, he still talks about it. And, like, I would love to see that. Like, I think Mega Man has a really awesome story, that potential, but we really don't ever get to, like, hear much about it. There's actually this really interesting live-action movie for Mega Man. I don't know if I've shared this with you. Huh?
That's not a thing. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's and I'll send it to you. It's on YouTube. It's like a YouTube fan movie, but it's actually fairly decent. And like I'll send it to you. It's enjoyable to kind of just put up and watch, maybe like while you're drawing or something. But it's good. I really enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing. And it was just kind of like, oh man, we definitely need that, right? Like it'd be cool to have like a game. You don't even know it's Mega Man. Like you're playing the game, it's called something really obscure. You're playing it, and then all of a sudden by the end, like you get this buster, and like your body like is just like enhanced, and like you're just getting all these powers, and all of a sudden you're like, holy crap, wait a second, this is Mega Man. That would just be dope. Like a Dragon's Dogma style, like Mega Man.
Jumping on giant mechs, like shooting into like these big gaping holes of like shooting in like machination stuff. We could just write it. Let's just do it. It's making.
I think that would be pretty dope. But so actually going off of Mega Man, there are 2 games that I thought of directly. One was one that I didn't even think about could be sci-fi, and let me know what you think about this. Sonic. Like
yes, no, here's why. Especially with the cartoon that started off the original 3 games. The whole idea is that this evil genius, Dr. Robotnik, is trying to like swarm Mobius with his robot overlordness, and like especially with the cartoon Sonic Sat I Am. We'll watch a couple episodes because it's genuinely a freaking great cartoon. One of the few good things that come out of Sonic. Robotnik has already taken over the world, and it's sci-fi dystopia, and like Sonic is with a band of like animal freedom fighters that are trying to take back and bring nature back into force. So Sonic is 100% sci-fi, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's one of those great intersections where you're like, this is like a kid's like, you know, I don't know, kind of genre of, yeah, I'm a hedgehog and I run really fast and this doesn't really make any sense. But then like the story background,
your problems, I'm Sonic.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's really cool that, you know, if you look back, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, especially if you look at Sonic, Astro Boy, and even and Mega Man, there's actually some really interesting commonalities there. Not a conversation to really have here, maybe a conversation to have on your podcast, but you know, definitely something I always found interesting. But the other one I thought of right after that was Metroid. The first sci-fi game I ever played in my entire life was Metroid Prime when I went to Target. It might have been Walmart, but I'm pretty sure it was Target. And I went to the GameCube, and I tried to play Metroid Prime, and I was like, what am I doing? This is awesome. Why do I feel like Mega Man kind of, but not really? I really, really liked Metroid Prime.
Really interesting side to when it comes to Metroid in its entirety is based on Alien, which is my favorite horror franchise and my favorite sci-fi franchise that's not Star Wars or Star Trek. So Samus is directly inspired by Ellen Ripley, even right down to the plots of the first couple original Metroid games like Metroid, Super Metroid, that sort of thing. It's all parallel to Alien and Aliens. Even right down to it, reveal, be like, oh, look, Samus is a girl. Ellen Ripley. Like, please look up. There are very interesting articles that that talk about the creator being directly inspired from Aliens. Like, he has this whole segment of how he talks about it. But no, 100% sci-fi. And it's dark sci-fi, too. Like, it's messed up. Like, all these aliens taking over the brains of people. And, like, it's really gritty. There's something about Metroid Prime back in the day where you looked at this game and you're like, oh, my God, first person, I'm shooting stuff. It's on the GameCube. This is so rad.
I completely agree. I like Metroid. That's my jam. Even like the old ones, you know, like just the 2D like platforming ones. You know, say it again.
Even the old ones are scary because all like the robots and the evil like dragon creatures and aliens all look freaking horrifying.
Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty good one. That definitely was my first. I want to go to this one really quickly. I was going to save it for later, but I know Drugenfruit keeps mentioning transhumanism, and if you're going to mention transhumanism, that means you have to mention one of my favorite, probably my favorite actually, my favorite sci-fi game of all time, and that's Deus Ex.
Adam.
Especially Deus Ex Human Revolution. I love that game, and I cannot wait for Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I know that there are some really great Deus Ex games that are isometric, and I also know that there is the Shadowrun franchise as well, which I don't have on here. I played Shadowrun before. We've mentioned this before. There's a first-person, third-person shooter called that's also Shadowrun, but I know that there's Shadowrun the RPG, which I do own. Have not played yet. Don't kill me for it. But Deus Ex Human Revolution, I think, really brought that sci-fi era, or the really good quality sci-fi into this first-person era that we're in right now. Everybody's trying to make an FPS. Actually, it's funny, the other day I was thinking about this. Everyone's trying to make an FPS again because the MOBA genre is hard to get into, and so everybody's trying to make the esport FPS come back. And so I think it's interesting just because if you look at, obviously it's not an esport, but I think Deus Ex was one of the best games to bring home that idea of really fresh, raw sci-fi, that transhumanism portion. You have to make decisions in that game, and the funny thing is the one major decision you don't get to choose is that you are who you are. They made you who you are, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but you play as Adam Jensen. I love Adam Jensen. That's my boy right there. But yeah, anyway, I love Deus Ex, and I cannot wait for the new one, so I'll just leave it at that. I think that comes out either late August, or I think they might have delayed it to October or something like that.
It's at the end of August.
I'm going to check that now. August 23rd. Birthday present to me. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. All right, so do you have anything you want to say about Deus Ex? I know you didn't really get to play it that much, right?
Nah.
All right, cool.
I'm good.
So August. We see you, Drugenfruit. I feel you, dude. We'll have to talk about this. Don't worry, Drugenfruit. We'll do a video on Deus Ex because I love that game so much. All right, so let's jump into another one. Here's one that I think we both definitely. I think everybody knows about. I mean, if you don't know about this game, I'm not really sure what's happening. We are going to skip Mass Effect and Fallout because we already kind of mentioned those before. But this one is what made Xbox what it is today, and that's Halo. Now, I actually really enjoy Halo. The gameplay, of course, is great, but I didn't actually play it as much as I watched it. I played a lot of Halo with my friend back in New Jersey, and we played a lot of mods for Halo 2 and even Halo 1 on the original Xbox. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of crazy times come from that. Actually, Ballistic Phoenix was there as well. He'd play a lot of those. I don't think I was friends with you when we used to do that. Right? I don't think you ever played.
I came to one of those nights, which was a lot of fun because our buddy, he'd have a bunch of screens stacked up against the back of his wall, and he'd have a bunch of consoles hooked up, and he'd have his PC hooked up behind us, and we'd all just play Halo and stuff. Halo was always a game since, again, I primarily own Nintendo and PlayStation stuff that I go over to my friend's house to play it. But I'll say this about Halo, it definitely has one of my the perfect sci-fi soundtrack. It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. It's good. I love, though, I'm pretty sure you just did Hunger Games.
Oh.
But, yeah. Say what?
It was also sci-fi.
Yeah, fair enough. But I love Halo. I think it's an awesome story. I actually just watched, no spoilers, but if anybody watches Death Battle, the most recent Death Battle was about Red vs. Blue, and Red vs. Blue is the kind of like the original. It's not really like an abridged series, but it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just awesome. It's basically a spoof on Halo. It's awesome. It's so good. But that was the most recent Death Battle, but it was fantastic. So I really love Halo. It goes back for a long time, and it's really amazing. Also, here's another good one. I know Drew, for you said Halo Reach was probably the best. Agreed. best OST official soundtrack. Yeah, I actually have the soundtrack for Halo Reach, just because it was so good. But yeah, so Elizabeth Kate just mentioned a fairly good sci-fi game that I actually played a little bit of, but not into horror stuff, so I backed out real fast. Dead Space. Did you ever play Dead Space?
It was another one of those things where I go over to my friend's house to play it because I didn't really have any interest in it. But no, it was scary. I remember I came by at the part where the guy, Isaac, first of all, I really like his spacesuit. I like his helmet. That's really cool. He had to like stick a needle in his own eye or whatever. And I was like, what is this? He's like, oh, it's Dead Space. We, you fight off like these horrible like necro things. And I'm like, oh, that's horrifying. It's a bit like Alien. I'm like, okay, I'm into it. So I watched a little bit. I was like, cool. You know what I mean? And I understand that. I won't be surprised if we see a reboot of this very soon.
Yeah, I mean, Dead Space is, people love Dead Space. I thought it was interesting. One of those things, again, I watched a little bit of, but I didn't really jump into. But definitely an interesting game for sure. And it would be cool to see kind of a reboot and see what they do with that. But the most of my time with Isaac Clarke was actually spent in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. But that's a conversation for another time. Okay, so say it again.
I think I could mention one, like if you were going to stream off of, especially since you mentioned PlayStation Battle Royale.
Sure, go for it.
The character that made a surprise appearance, I was like, what? Like, the Big Daddy from BioShock was in it. So BioShock is like one of the best sci-fi series of all time, ever.
Yep, that's definitely on the list. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about BioShock. Fun fact, I have mentioned this before. I actually have a whole video on this. If you guys do love Hardsuit Labs and you guys want to support them, or you just love yourself a little bit of BioShock, definitely go ahead and get the BioShock full collection. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it has BioShock 1, 2, and BioShock Infinite, and it has all of the DLC in there. So I think it's completely worth it. I believe it's a $60 game, but it has 3 different games with all the DLC. I think it's worth it. I'll definitely be buying it at some point. I'd probably do a whole night where we just kind of go through it. That'd be pretty cool when you're around, maybe see if we can kind of jump through it, because I think
it is like one of the most important games to come out ever. Like in terms of like how important it was for like the industry and its setting and like just whew.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, BioShock's amazing, and it's definitely sci-fi, but it's one of those things where, again, that intersectionality is really cool. I do really like sci-fi in later eras. I think sci-fi in the future is pretty cool, but like it's just so out there that it's like, yeah, maybe it's cool. I don't really know. Like when it's really based on like something that has happened or can happen or will happen, awesome. But otherwise, like, so for BioShock, I think there are some, like it's taking place in the past and it's like an alternate future. So it's like it's some people, again, wouldn't necessarily say it's sci-fi, but I would, and I think it's awesome. So BioShock.
Sci-fi as it's very Lovecraftian. You know what I mean? Like interdimensional travel, like a higher plane of understanding than we can understand. But I think especially the first one is like the perfect amalgamation of like a dark sci-fi. Like it's just so Lovecrafted, it hurts. But I think it's called BioShock The Collection.
Yeah. So I'll definitely be getting that. I'm pretty excited for that. So we've got some more. A lot of people are mentioning these in the chats. I appreciate you guys being so actually active in the chat. This is awesome. One of them is definitely. Oh, this is good. This was good. I actually don't have this on my list, which is interesting. I'm not sure why I don't. But Crysis. Crysis is, the game that everybody knows, as the PC like game you have to get to see if your PC can run it kind of thing, right? Like every time a new Crysis comes out, you've got to make a whole new PC. But it's also out for PlayStation. I think it's also out for Xbox as well. But yeah, Crysis is I know who really loves Crysis, Ballistic Phoenix. If he was on here right now, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, Crysis is definitely, he loves that game. It's crazy in terms of the storyline. You start off as this guy in a suit. You die as a guy in a suit. The suit then takes your soul, and then a new guy puts the suit on, then he dies, and then gets turned into the old guy, and it's crazy. You got aliens coming down. It is a lot of fun. Good game. I actually never beat it, I don't think. It's one of those games where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. But the story was really awesome. I like talking to Ballistic Phoenix about it because he's really interested in that kind of stuff. Another game that he really liked, actually, that was sci-fi that a lot of you guys have played is Warframe. So that's something that he really dives in deep into those. Maybe we can get him on for a quick chat to talk a little bit about kind of sci-fi and stuff like that, because he definitely is interested in that kind of stuff. But yeah, Crysis. I know you haven't really had time with Crysis much, right? So we probably can.
No. That's something I never even touched. I've only looked at like screenshots and stuff just because it was so beautiful, and like they had this really awesome bow like on the cover, and I was like, oh, what's that about? And I love archery in games. I love it so much.
Yeah, definitely good. So another one that has been mentioned that I truly like, and is my favorite FPS of all time, which is it my favorite FPS? I don't know if it's my favorite FPS, but it's your favorite FPS.
Oh yeah, Borderlands 2 specifically.
Yeah, Borderlands. Fantastic. Actually, you guys had mentioned the whole collection is actually on sale. Borderlands, the Handsome Collection. I would definitely get this if you guys if you haven't played Borderlands, get it. If you have, personally, I don't like playing Borderlands by myself. I think it's really fun with other people. I think it gets really boring, especially the first one gets really dry. But Borderlands as a game is one of the best games in terms of its transition from game 1 to game 2. One of the best sequels I've ever played in terms of that transition. From Borderlands 2 to the pre-sequel, though I think that the timing was wrong, I think giving us more of what we loved was great. The only thing that I wish that they had done was just made it run smoother. So when you play it on PC, it's great. But when you played it on PS4, not so great. But that's okay. And then with the same guys in another game, but we'll get back to Borderlands, but the same guys also created Battleborn, and Battleborn, also sci-fi, for sure. I love all of those games. I love all of their universes. It's silly. It's fun. It's offensive. It's a great game. They're all great games. And tell me a little bit more. It's your favorite FPS. Again, it's probably mine. I can't wait for the new Borderlands to come out. Hopefully 1080p, 60 frames per second. That way we don't get this choppy action anymore. But tell me, why is it your favorite?
The reason why it's my favorite, well, mechanically, Overwatch is definitely my favorite FPS. But like for the overall package for FPS, Borderlands 2 is definitely it. It's one of those games you could play 1,000 hours and literally find something new. And the game encourages you to have multiple playthroughs. You beat it the first time, and the enemies are recycled. You get stronger, and there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of guns. Like there are like dozens of bosses, 4-player co-op, drop in, drop out. You get more rare loot the more people that you play with. The writing is some of the most like I've had my ribs hurt from me laughing so hard at the writing in that. It's that and Tales of the Borderlands, which I remember, which I highly recommend. It's Telltale's best series by far out of all the ones I played. The Walking Dead and Tales of the Borderlands, the best. And also I just really love the characters, definitely the characters that you play as, because it's about a game that you just have fun. Get thousands and thousands of guns, work up your character, kill everything, and get guns. It's the perfect gameplay loop. If it wasn't bad, it's just so great. It's so great. That's another one of those games where I miss a lot. But yeah.
Yeah, it'll be nice. I think, unfortunately, not because I don't want to get too sidetracked. I definitely want to talk more about sci-fi games and stuff like that. But in general, I feel really bad because I think they made a lot of bad calls with 2K in general. I think 2K had a great lineup, and I think they could have done two things: waited for 1.5, wait for the PS4. Drop 1.5, or I would wait for drop 1.5 on the pre-sequel on PS4 with 60 frames per second, and just I think it would have really livened things up. I think it would have been like, this is the new Borderlands, awesome. I think we all would have jumped into it. I think we all would have liked it. It would have been kind of short, but I think we all would have been fine with it. You could have even cut the price a little bit to make it sell better. The problem then was Battleborn came out. And Battleborn was, again, 30 frames per second. You can't do that. Like, the game, honestly, I love Battleborn. It's a great game. But it's 30 frames per second. It's not fun at 30 frames per second when Overwatch came out at the same time. and that kind of sucked. So I really can't wait. I hope they take their time for whatever the next game is that they're making, whether it be Border Worlds, Borderlands 3, Battleborn 2. I really don't care. But the next game in that kind of universe, I would love to see those games. I'd love to see those games really come out well. 1080p, 60 frames per second, no glitch. I don't care if they have glitches, but no hitches in terms of the gameplay. That would be really helpful. But don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's jump into a game by the same creators of Fallout. And this is literally just for me. There's actually three games we're going to talk about. But this is for me. I know nobody actually cares about this, but Brink, one of the best games ever created. Just kidding.
Want to say it? Want to say your favorite line from that game?
I'm building an MG nest.
I can't believe we played like so many hours into Torbjorn and Overwatch, and we haven't said that once.
I think I might have said it in the very beginning, but I don't play as Torbjorn, so I don't actually like his turret mechanic.
I'm building an MG nest.
yeah, I've done it in Paragon. There's a character named Iggy and Scorch, and he puts flame turrets down. I've definitely said that before. But yeah, I think Brink. I'm not going to spend much time on this. It's made by the guys at Splash Damage. Splash Damage made a game, or is making a game right now called Dirty Bomb, which honestly I don't understand why it's not on console. Literally, I have no idea, but hopefully one day it'll come to console. But yeah, Brink was also SciFi. Just wanted to put that out there. But staying with Bethesda, there's another game, another couple games by them. Bethesda really likes their alternate universe kind of thing. And so we're going to name another one that a lot of you guys have never heard of, Rage.
Wow, that's a game that I tried to play 4 separate times and could not get into it. It's the perfect Mad Max experience, but I'm like, man, I'm not having fun right now.
I'd love if anybody in the chat right now can tell me if they've played before. I see Jugenfruit. You're saying Dirty Bomb was was pretty good, and now you're saying, wait. Well, tell me what you think about this. Please let me know if you've actually played Rage or not, Jugenfruit, because Rage was an awesome gameplay game. The gameplay itself was super tight. The gunplay itself was really good. The bullets, there were different types of bullets. That was a lot of fun. The rest of the game was trash. So let's just be honest. Yeah. So, they could make another Rage, to be honest with you, and it would work. But they would have to fix everything that sucked. The graphics were also really good for its time period. It was just not oh god, it was depressing. They even had some Skyrim Fallout elements, which everyone thought it was going to be the new Fallout. It just kind of fell flat. But in general, it is a sci-fi game for sure. Dystopian sci-fi game, literally Mad Max simulator. But it was what it was. Sticking still with Bethesda, Doom.
I love Doom.
All of Doom. Not just Doom, not just the newest Doom, all of Doom. Very sci-fi. Please, tell us.
You fight demons from hell on Mars. It's amazing. Interdimensional travel, big guns, ripping demons' faces off. It's so good. And the story is really, really great, which, by the way, the Doom, the reboot, Doom 2016, it's on my list of games of the year. So we'll have that discussion at the end of the year. But, oh, man, please download the free demo of Doom. I need all of you to do this now. I need all of you to just have that experience because you're going to get addicted. That is awesome. And it's getting a score attack mode soon, so I'm going to go through it again. So
yeah, I'm pretty excited that you and I are going to be in the same place because we can kind of share our libraries. That'll be nice. That way, if you want to play one of my games, I can play one of your games. Doom is one of those games I'd love to just kind of rush through and try it out. I've got a ton of indie games, hopefully, that you'll try out and see if you like.
I love them. You know me. I'll play anything and everything.
Yeah, so that should be a lot of fun. By the way, for all of those out there who I know a lot of you guys are pretty young, but if you're ever thinking about moving out, or if you're just thinking about, I don't know, you're sharing a place with somebody or whatever, see if you can find somebody that has, that likes games. They're not hard to find. My roommate, I found, through another friend of mine, He loves video games. Like, the great thing is, like, we get to share each other's libraries. We get to try new games, new things. If you have someone who has an Xbox 360 or Xbox One and you have a PlayStation, perfect. They can play your PlayStation games. You can play the Xbox One games. You both have PlayStations. I'm assuming you guys like some of the same games, but you probably don't have all the same games. Try each other's games out. It's totally worth it, very cost effective. I have a feeling that Peaches and I will do that quite often. And then if you both love a game, then you can both buy it. But at least one person can buy it first and try it, and then if both of you don't like it, the one person can just sell it. It's just so much more cost effective. It makes a lot more sense. So think about it. I think it's totally worth it. So yeah, Doom, definitely would love to try that game out. Can't wait. I think I downloaded the demo and then deleted it because I didn't have enough space. But I'd love to try it when you come around. I also played the beta for the multiplayer, but apparently the multiplayer wasn't great. But I heard that the map editor kind of makes up for it. So we'll have to kind of see for that. Also, I heard the map editor allows you to like do like co-op missions and stuff.
Yep.
So that
4 people to be killing demons together and stuff. It's fun, but it takes a lot of wading through garbage to find those levels unless you actually pick the pre-selected stuff. You know what I mean? But that's obvious with any other like level editor. Like, I mean, you and I played Little Big Planet for like hours trying to find the good stuff. So
still never played Little Big Planet 3. Bought it and never played it. We should do that at some point.
Let GearCast play Little Big Planet 3.
Yeah, we've got to do it at some point. All right. So keep going. We're keeping on. Keeping it real. We've got, let's see. I think there was another one. Oh, of course. Wolfenstein. Same guys, once again.
Yes.
I'm telling you, like Bethesda, these guys, like, all they do is sci-fi. It's either sci-fi or fantasy.
They have a big fetish for alternate history.
Yeah, it's a big thing for them. So Wolfenstein, if you guys don't know, great game. Basically, always has to do with B.J. Blazkowicz going after Hitler in some way, shape, or form. And the newest one is really a great game. You just have to be aware of what it is. I think it can be sold really terribly or sold really well. But I think just being honest is the best way to do it. Wolfenstein is a game where you just go through a level killing things. And then you go to the next level, killing things. And then you go to the next level, killing things.
Like a retro-style FPS. That's what Doom is. I mean, so whereas Wolfenstein celebrates in like the linear classic first-person shooter of going and killing everything and upping your score and just getting through each level, Doom celebrates in like the big arena-style gameplay. But both are fast and fluid. And one you reload, and Doom you don't. So.
Yeah. Also, Fruit, you mentioned what was the first FPS, Doom or Wolfenstein? I believe it was Wolfenstein. Fairly certain it was Wolfenstein. Like almost 95% sure it was Wolfenstein, but let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, Wolfenstein was really, really great. I really liked it. Had to stop playing it though because the linearity was just starting to really bother me and getting annoying. It was fun for sure, and I liked unlocking the different perks and stuff. And I know where the value of the game is. And if I ever want to get back to it and play it, I definitely can. But I definitely think it was a great game. A lot of people are saying that a new one is in the works just because it actually sold really well because it was like one of the only FPSs on the new consoles at the time. And it was a good one. So we'll see what happens there. But definitely a good game.
Yeah, so now it was a bit like this. Like you would hit a brick wall of difficulty the second you got spoilers, you fight Nazis on the moon. But the second you got there, the kind of like, oh my god, this like steep. It is horrendous. Like, it is so difficult.
Yeah, you talking about Wolfenstein?
Oh yeah, but it's one of those games that revels in how difficult and hardcore, quote unquote, it is.
Yeah, I never felt like Wolfenstein was too hard. I always felt like Wolfenstein had a couple things you could choose. So like it was like you could actually go stealth in the game, but it was like kind of hard. So like you had to like
guns.
Say it again.
Or dual wield shotguns.
Yeah, I felt like the game really was pushing you to go guns blazing the entire game, and that was fine, but I was trying to unlock these different things, and it was one of those games, again, where like I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I just never looked at the trophies, but it actually wasn't trophies, it was in-game like things, like do this and get this, and I kept focusing on that instead of just focusing on playing the game, and then I tried to keep killing the one dude one way so I could always get this one thing, and I was just like, this isn't worth it. Like, if you stealthed the game, you ended up better. Like, you got more stuff. So it was just one of those things where I don't like when games are formatted that way, bothers me because I feel like you have to keep playing it or keep replaying it, or if you don't get the one stealth kill, like you got to start over. Not fun for me. So that was kind of annoying. But
go ahead.
No. You can go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say, like, there's one of my favorite franchises of all time. Definitely constitutes as sci-fi. You know, big bipedal nuclear walking tanks. Metal Gear is one of the best series of all time ever, and it's also some of the best, most complicated sci-fi lore ever. It's just, no one can argue that that's sci-fi. It's sci-fi to core metahumans, giant robots, like big government conspiracies too. Like it's oh man, I love Metal Gear so much. Phantom Pain is one of those things that I really want to go back to, but having no internet and I can't reinstall it, it's just, oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Definitely one of my favorites. I remember when because I played a bit of like I played a bit of one, and then like years later, you were like, when Guns of the Patriots came out, you're like, this is literally the best game I've ever played. I was like, what Metal? And that's the thing that I played when I barely remember this game, and so boom. Oh man, it's so important. Metal Gear is so important. If you haven't played Metal Gear, there might be something wrong with you. You just gotta go for it. It's not for everybody. Let's just admit that. But
yeah. I actually don't know if everyone should play Metal Gear. Like, first of all, Metal Gear is like a hardcore game. So like, if you like hardcore challenges, if you like espionage stealth games, play Metal Gear. If you don't get Metal Gear. You're wasting your money. It's hardcore. It's hard.
You might say.
Say it again.
Tactical espionage action. You might say.
Yeah, maybe you might say it. But yeah, I don't think it's actually for everyone. But I think the story is. I think everyone would enjoy the story of it. But it's really intense. So I think it just kind of depends. But yes, definitely a good one. Glad you brought that one up. Yeah, that was a good one. Another one I kind of wanted to mention this for a couple of them. I'm just gonna kind of in general, Call of Duty. Titanfall, there's lots of FPSs that always go into kind of sci-fi, and that's kind of like a newer thing now. Infinite Warfare for Call of Duty, obviously Titanfall completely is a sci-fi shooter. I think it's kind of taking place of Call of Duty's like always sci-fi adventures at some point. Destiny is an obvious one. I do want to go into Destiny a little bit more. I actually think Destiny is one of the best sci-fi games of our generation. I think you have Mass Effect is definitely one of them, and I think Destiny is one as well. The lore is fantastic. I think the only reason it didn't stay as popular is because the first iteration of the game wasn't that great. The second and third and fourth are amazing. Like, the game is incredible. Like, the game is seriously incredible, but now you have to play catch-up, and it's not really that fun to play catch-up. We'll see how Destiny 2, changes that narrative again. And, of course, the newest expansion, I believe it's a $20, $30 expansion, Rise of Iron. We'll see how that works. I do plan on actually going into my Destiny. I haven't played it in a while, but I do plan on jumping in and playing it because I'd like to see kind of how things have changed. Let's see if Ballistic Phoenix is interested. Let me know down in the comment section below if you guys are interested. But yeah, I love that game. I love Destiny. I think it's a great one. But yeah, definitely Titanfall and Call of Duty definitely have a lot of sci-fi built in as well. But backing out of those real quick, because don't really want to spend too much time on talking about those games, just because I think everybody knows about Call of Duty and how it's sci-fi. Here are some that are first-party PlayStation titles only, starting with a game that probably many of you actually might not know, especially if you started on PlayStation 4. There's only one of these, and that game is Killzone. Killzone Shadowfall, being the newest one that recently came out. That was an okay game. Then they came out with a mode that I wish they came out with a lot earlier. I probably would have played it a lot more. Interception, which is literally Call of Duty, or not Call of Duty. What was I trying to think of? I don't know. Wave-based mode. Co-op, that's what I meant. Co-op wave-based mode. But Killzone was one of my favorite games. I played Killzone 2 and Killzone 3, and then Killzone Shadowfall. Killzone 1 I didn't play because it was on like PS2 or like PS1 or something, and so I was just like, this is too old. But the other ones, the story is really great. You're playing as some really awesome characters, going through some awesome stuff. There's a black guy in the game, so I always really like that. And the multiplayer was a lot of fun. Killzone 3 was one of my favorite multiplayer games. Had a ton of fun with an old friend of mine Online and Ballistic Phoenix. So those were really fun. I miss those days. And aside from going to Killzone, because you actually never played Killzone, right?
Oh, no.
So aside from Killzone, those guys who made Killzone, which is Guerrilla? Yeah. Guerrilla Games, they're making a new game, which you had just mentioned, which is Horizon Zero Dawn. If you guys don't know Horizon Zero Dawn, I don't understand what's wrong with you. I'm just kidding. Google it. If someone could put a link in the description, a link in the chat below for a trailer or something of Horizon Zero Dawn, the game is incredible. Like, the game is phenomenal. So if you guys haven't done that, definitely go ahead and check it out. Obviously, it's not out yet, so I shouldn't be saying it's incredible and phenomenal, but definitely worth checking out because I think the game is going to be awesome. Also, before we jump in and continue going, and we actually are almost done with the stream, and we got a couple more games to go for, but just saw that Roman AW, the Almighty, is here, so I had to go ahead and bring that out. What's up, Roman AW? It's been a long time, man. We've definitely got to play some games. It's been a while. Definitely would love to play some something. I don't even know. I know you play a whole bunch of games. I saw you playing something crazy the other day, and I was like, you have this game? So we definitely have to chat a little bit more about that. Drugenfruit, thanks a lot for posting the link. And hopefully, let's keep talking about some of these games. But Horizon Zero Dawn coming out. Roman, let me know if you're interested. Drugenfruit, let me know if you guys are interested in getting those games. But let's move on to another game that, and I want to hear your thoughts on this too, of course, that is also a PlayStation exclusive. And this is Starhawk. Starhawk. You played Starhawk, right?
I watched you play, remember?
Oh, yeah, true. I love Starhawk. Starhawk is this game that unfortunately did not get enough love. It did get some love by PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, but Starhawk was so good. It's literally about this black guy, and which means it's already good. Just kidding. This black guy who's like zooming around the universe, and he's got this like arm that like allows him to like, I don't remember exactly what it allowed him to do, but he was fighting his, I think, brother or something. The story was really great, and the gameplay was good. It was a third-person shooter where you could drop down full bases. Like you could drop down like a depot to spawn vehicles. You could drop down a full tower to to use for defenses. Like you could drop down full walls. You could make a whole base out of nothing. It was amazing. I really love that game. I'd love to see the game come back. I don't know, Starhawk 2. I don't know, but I really love the game. I think it didn't get enough love, and I think it's one of those games that if more people tried it, I think people really liked it. But conversation for another time, since I know a lot of you guys haven't played the game. But all right, we're almost done. We're almost done here. Let's talk about a game that both of us have definitely played. I think that we both like very well, and the new one is going to come out on PlayStation, even though they said it was impossible. XCOM.
How dare they lie to me? Like, why? You must be confused. Like, it's never coming to console. I'm like, you're literally lying to my face. You're literally lying. And I've like watched them come out with a console edition come out, and they're like, here it is. I love XCOM. I was contemplating like scraping together some more commission work so I can get XCOM on Vita, just because I'd love to. Like, it's not that it's gonna run well on Vita, but it's one of those things where I need to play that game again. For those, when did the original XCOM come out? That was like 1997.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but it was it's a 3D isometric real-time strategy game where you make your own like space marines and you combat against aliens. The reason why I love the game so much, aside from like its incredible tactics, is that you get to personalize your soldiers to like a sickening degree. Their name, their look, their class, their weapons, their armor, and stuff like that. So you grow a personal attachment to them, like the more missions that you do. So of course you have these like epic stories of I'll drop one right now. There were a couple aliens like holed up in this spaceship, and so I only had a couple turns left. A lot of my soldiers were dead. This is before Gear and I got really cheap and were really annoying. We just kept reloading previous saves because we didn't want our soldiers to die. So we blew up the side of the ship, and so my big heavy, he had a rocket launcher, blew up the side of the ship, and all the aliens were you know, they fell over dead, but there was this one gigantic, evil, powerful alien that I didn't see who would have sniped all of us and killed us if he was allowed to live. So sure enough, I had another 2 snipers on the left here, and they cracked the shot. The alien fell over, and we won the mission. Literally, if that didn't happen, all my soldiers would have been wiped out by that single alien if he was able to sneak around to the other side. Just so good. These stories are just natural. There are like a billion of them that you can have in this game. And now XCOM 2 is coming to consoles, and I cannot wait. XCOM is brilliant. I'm done.
Yeah, no, I love XCOM. I think XCOM is a great game. I don't really think I need to say much more. The second one's coming out. Can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. Just want to mention, Roman AW mentions Star Fox. Can't believe I even forgot about that. Star Fox definitely has some sci-fi intersection. It's very similar to Sonic, right? Where like this game, what exactly is the game? But like in general, yeah, I mean you're flying throughout the stars, and especially in Star Fox 64, like all you're doing is flying a ship. Like you're not on the ground, you're not going to different planets, you're just flying around. No, Uncle Andros. That's it.
You got an enemy on your tail.
No barrel. Classics. All right. Well, glad we got that one out. All right. Let's wrap this up. Got a couple more. We'll kind of do a little bit of a lightning round. I know there are some that you guys have never heard of. So like Two Human, for example, an Xbox 360 game. Huh?
Holy crap. Was that game bad? Do I remember it being bad?
People say it was bad. I love the game. It's one of the, so there are these. Yeah, was it a bad game? Yeah, but I beat that game. Like it was about Norse mythology plus sci-fi. It was awesome. Like the mechanics were dumb. So like you would hold the right stick in a direction, and that's where you would auto attack. And so it was like really weird. Like they could have just allowed you to walk over and just spam the button and like kill people like normal, but instead there was this weird like move the stick, and like that's where you would go and attack. Super weird. It was supposed to be a trilogy, completely dropped off, but I thought it was really cool. Definitely sci-fi. Another game that just recently a sequel came out, or kind of a reimagining, that actually didn't sell too well, unfortunately, but I'll probably still get it once it drops in price. Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge, the original, and Mirror's Edge Catalyst, definitely sci-fi, but not as easily, like, you know, it's not thrown in your face that it's sci-fi. I actually won't spoil it, but at the end is when you'll recognize that it's definitely a sci-fi game. Otherwise, you might just think it's an alternate universe, but you'll start to see a lot of science being involved at the end of Mirror's Edge, and I've heard it's even more involved in Mirror's Edge Catalyst. So, if you've played those games, then definitely let me know. So Mirror's Edge is definitely one. Here's one that I'm going to let you talk about. We already know that you're over the franchise, but the sci-fi element I think is definitely interesting, even though these parts may have been fairly boring. Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yeah, I'm over it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, all the sci-fi needs to disappear now.
Well, yeah, but I do think it's interesting that it is a sci-fi game, and you can't like really. I don't think you can get rid of that. I mean, you could, but I think that it does bring together. I think they could have done a lot of really cool things with it, and then they kind of just messed it up. And we'll see what happens in the movie, because in the movie, that's like one of the core parts of it. Is that like, you know, you're definitely like going back and like meeting your ancestors through this giant machine and training. So that'll be really interesting to see. But I do like,
if Ubisoft actually takes this Egypt. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but I won't be surprised if it happened if they made this new Egypt entry like a big, like not a reboot, but if it's a reboot, that'll be amazing. If it's just like, hey, it's just gonna be a bunch of period piece games. Like we're gonna take out like the little artifacts. We're gonna take out like Abstergo. We're gonna take this stuff, and we're just gonna have like the lore of the Assassins and the Templars like throughout ages of history. I think that would be a much more interesting way to do it. But no one can deny that initially this stuff was cool. Strap yourself in a machine, put your little PSVR headset on, and suddenly you get to live out the actions of your ancestors and have those abilities carry over into your actual self with a guy voiced by Noah North who's really annoying and an asshole. And then he died, and that was the best thing that happened to the franchise. Coincidence? No. But yeah.
Well, that's Assassin's Creed. All right, we've only got a couple more. Ones that I'll kind of go through really quickly. Helldivers. If you guys have played that, we got it for free, I think, on PlayStation Plus. And if not, it was on sale for PlayStation Plus. But Helldivers is definitely one. You're just a couple dudes dropping in on planets and shooting stuff. And sci-fi. Another one of my favorite games of all time, Transistor. Definitely sci-fi. Don't really want to give too much away from it. It's one of those games I think you should all play. But it's a beautiful game, and honestly, the main mechanic is all about like AI. So definitely something you may want to check out if you're interested. But Transistor, a beautiful game. Wow, dude, that yawn was incredible. You looked like a hippo. Sure. Okay, another one is The Fall. The reason I'm mentioning The Fall is actually an indie game that it might be on sale still, but if you're interested in sci-fi and story, definitely check it out. I actually recently bought it because it was really inexpensive, but go ahead, check it out. Don't want to give too much away from it. Also don't have a ton of time. Someone had mentioned before, Final Fantasy. Yes, a couple of the Final Fantasies are sci-fi. Not all of them, but the majority of them. There's usually some sort of Magitech armor. It's what I would call sci-fi fantasy. There's a lot of or high sci-fi is another one I've heard, where it's highly fantasy based, but there's science involved. Again, this is like kind of where you're getting a lot of different intersections and stuff, but whatever. But yeah, so I think if you Final Fantasy definitely has lots of like Magitech armor and different, even in the newest Final Fantasy that's coming out, Final Fantasy 15, there's giant airships. It's a completely different reality. Obviously, it's not even like trying to be like in our reality. It's just a completely different world again, which is why it's like fantasy with science in it. It's not really science fiction, but again, that's kind of debatable. So, Final Fantasy, Earth Defense Force. That is a game that is definitely science fiction. You're literally the Earth Defense Force. You're just these guys, soldiers, and then giant spaceships come down and drop down giant ants and spiders, and it's ridiculous. Giant robots come storm your beaches, and you blow them up. So, yeah. EDF, Starbound, which is brand new. Well, it's brand new for us on console. I think that it might be coming out. I can't remember. It's Terraria meets sci-fi. And it's supposed to be really, really great. I know it was out in early access for PC. A lot of people love that. So I'm actually really excited for it, especially if it does come to console, because we mentioned before that me and Peaches literally have spent hours playing Terraria before. So when Starbound comes out, I'm going to be there. And then the last one that I wanted to mention, actually the one before the last one, is maybe not. Portal and Half-Life. Same universe, so that's why I'm keeping it that way. But Portal and Half-Life, definitely sci-fi. If you guys haven't played Half-Life, it's fine, to be honest. It's old at this point. Though Black Mesa is a remake of, I believe, the original. So if you guys have a PC, definitely look into it. But Portal, one of the best games of all time. Definitely check that out. It's a lot of fun. It's a puzzle game where you're shooting portals, jumping through portals, trying to get to the end. A lot of fun. Funny game. Portal 1 and 2. Play them both. Those are definitely sci-fi. Elizabeth Kate had mentioned Overwatch. Definitely sci-fi.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not a monkey. I'm a scientist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, monkeys who are scientists. The Omnic race, which is literally AI, like it's machines that are. Come on. But the final one I wanted to mention, of course, is Blacklight. Blacklight is a sci-fi game. It's science fiction. Starting from Blacklight Tango Down all the way till now, it was Blacklight Retribution and maybe a new Blacklight on the way. It's definitely all about sci-fi. Sure, it's got some zombies in it as well, but it's a lot of it is just FPS, but it is definitely sci-fi. There's a whole bunch of technology involved. There's a whole bunch of there's hard suits in it. The armor that you're wearing, all of the gear that you have. It's a sci-fi game. All right, guys. Thanks for bearing with me going through that entire list. Probably could have just chopped it down to a couple, like 5, 3, or 6, or 10. I'm glad a lot of you guys are telling me that Starbound is really good, and I should buy it, so I will definitely try it out. Butter Brian, thanks for letting me know that. Butter Brian, you're always on here as well. I always appreciate that. But it's good to see everybody here. It's nice to see You know, the people that stuck around, a lot of you guys left. Roman, always good to see you. Drugenfruit, as always, you are the best sub I've ever met in my entire life. Hopefully everybody sticks around. Also, if you haven't noticed, Peach's hair is orange, and it's actually, or not orange, purple. You know what? Fun fact, I actually always...
Okay. Like, what?
Well, hold on. Let me explain. I've actually always mixed up orange and purple since I was a child. Like, I've never, like that, like, I've always mixed up orange and purple. I have no idea why. Like, the word. I don't know why it is. Like, maybe I just learned it, like that was just one of those words I messed up, and I just, like, no one ever taught me it was wrong, and then, like, I just had to keep reminding myself. But every single time I see the color purple, I always think orange. It's really interesting. Anyway, his hair is purple, and the reason it's purple is because of Drugenfruit. So,
yeah, I actually dyed it with the fruit of the Drugenfruit. This joke messed up the second I started stuttering.
I actually dyed it with the fruit of the Trogam. All right, guys. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I thought it was pretty fun. Kind of crash landed at the end, but it's been a while since we've done this, and I appreciate that.
Crash landed the spaceship in sci-fi, you might say.
Well, I'm going to finish the stream so I can play some video games. What am I going to play? Who knows? I might play Metal Gear. I might play some new games because I have a ton of new games, and I don't play any of them. I might also just play Overwatch.
Summer event. You got to get those Olympic skins.
I haven't touched any of those yet. So I'm going to jump in, probably take a look at it, and then because you're not there, I probably won't play it. And then I'll probably just play a single-player game. And, yeah, sorry, guys, don't want to play Blacklight yet, but I will. When the patch drops, I'll be in there. I'll be in there like swimwear. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this. Thanks for sticking around. Drugenfruit, you the best. Momdu, thanks for coming back, dog. And everybody else, have a good one. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Play video games that you like playing. Go outside and smell the sun. Just kidding. Don't do that. That's terrible for your skin. Like this video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. Share it with everyone so everybody can talk about sci-fi stuff. I'm done. It's been fun.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.